The last 12 months have been an interesting one for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with a beautiful daughter. I gave up a very harmful addiction after 18 years and I intend on making Hajj inshaAllah. In preparation for the biggest journey of my life, I have decided that this continuous battle with my ego and controlling my anger would have to be tackled head on. First and foremost for the sake of Allah and the betterment of my deen. The story of this documentary series started with me asking the legendary British Moroccan MMA fighter and coach, Khalid Ismail, to train me for a full week as part of an intense MMA boot camp of all the major disciplines of mixed martial arts, in the hope that not only would I learn new skills to improve my general health and fitness, but most importantly, be humble and disciplined enough to allow myself to be managed by an expert who is more knowledgeable, stronger and experienced than me. Will my ego and temperament allow me to truly learn from Coach Khalid? I guess we're about to find out.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, sisters, friends, all the viewers, to a very special and exclusive 5 Pillars live stream. And I guess a great place to start will be some reflections on that very gripping teaser and trailer for what will be quite a unique docutainment series by the looks of it, Brother Dilly Hussain.
What's going on, my little bro? Assalamu alaikum, people. How are you all?
I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone is healthy and looking forward to the live stream today. I have the protagonist in front of me of the docutainment series itself.
How you doing, my little bro? So basically,
How are you doing?
I'm good. I was just sending it out to my broadcast list and everything. Brothers and sisters, just a quick one. Especially mainly for our UK viewers and listeners. We're going to end just a bit after Maghrib. So Maghrib's around about 8:30, 8:35, 8:40. So we should be done by 8:45. On the YouTube live chat, we have pinned the link to Khalid Ismail Academy, who this project is in partnership with. So please go check out Coach Khalid Ismail's Academy, where there's various health and fitness regimes, MMA training programs, as well as dieting content and all kinds of things. And of course, when he does join us, he's open to taking questions and answers. But today's host, believe it or not, is my little brother Aki. So over to you, my little bro. What's going on?
Thank you very much. This is a very strange position to be in, where I am hosting and I will be quizzing you about this very interesting project and docutainment series.
Yeah.
I've got so many questions to ask you, so many questions I've already asked you and information I've got. I guess a good place to start with you is, what are you doing? What are you doing and how are you feeling about it? Because it looks very interesting.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. What am I doing? So it's a docutainment series. So for those of you who don't know what docutainment means, it's a documentary series, but it's also got an element of entertainment. So that's what it is. It's serious, but there's going to be light moments. There's going to be moments where, where you're going to see some scenes, some instances which may be entertaining to you. I think most of it, if not all of it, will be at my expense. Yes, Khalid.
What's happening? I had technical issues.
Are you okay now?
Yeah, to find 15 different computers. Actually, how are you?
Good. It's Khalid, Coach Khalid. It's good to see you. How are you keeping?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good, man. Good seeing you too.
Fantastic.
So Aki basically asked me, Coach Khalid, he asked me, how's it going to be entertaining? I went, well, the entire entertainment aspect of it's going to be at my expense, I'm assuming. It ain't going to be at your expense. So I think...
sorry, I didn't... What was the conversation? Entertaining in...
No. Aki asked, so
yeah.
what aspect of it's going to be entertainment? right? And I said most of it,
Okay.
all of it's going to be at my expense, really. So.
Right. Yeah.
It's
No,
gonna
it's
be
going to be good. I think it'll be a good insight into the world of MMA a little bit as well. And then, inshallah, hopefully the people benefit from it. I think that's the main thing. And yeah, those obviously with training, there's always going to be some sort of entertainment.
Yeah. So Brother Fahad's asked, when will this be out? So we plan on releasing it towards the end of June. So maybe the last 10 days of June, inshallah. We're undecided whether the episodes are going to be done on a daily or if they're going to be done weekly. But the idea is that, inshallah ta'ala, that it's released before Hajj starts, which is also an integral part of why I decided to kick off this series and pitch this project to Coach Khalid. Coach Khalid, listen, bro, I've pinned the Academy's website on our live chat. So
Okay.
there might be people who want to ask you questions.
Yeah.
So inshallah, please do feel free to answer them if and when they ask.
So let me set the scene for our viewers who are joining the live stream today.
Yeah.
For those who saw the trailer at the start, would have heard you, Dilly, saying some really interesting and quite gripping bits of information, sharing some things about this entire docutainment series that you're going to be doing with Coach Khalid. So let's set the scene. We have Dilly Hussain, who is the protagonist of this docutainment series, and we have Coach Khalid Ismail, the legendary, esteemed MMA fighter and coach, who will be your coach during this series. And there's so many questions, so many things to explore and sink our teeth in. So I've got a lot of things to ask you, Coach Khalid, in respects to this.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you first, Dilly. How are you feeling with this trailer now coming out, with you making the preparation you've made so far, and things happening and starting, and you sinking your teeth into this docutainment series itself and everything that involves with it? How are you feeling about it? How are you feeling right now?
I was feeling right confident. I was feeling actually quite positive about it until I rocked up to Khalid's first training session, like with his class on Saturday. But
When was that?
That was yesterday. So the first time because Khalid had a class yesterday at his academy, he had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class and a kickboxing class, and I was quite confident. Thinking, you know, on terms of fitness, I think I'm okay. I think I'm getting there, bro. Khalid's Jiu-Jitsu class was very testing. It was very intense, and there was a young
awakening.
It was, and it was a humbling experience because I informed Khalid straight away. There was a young brother there, I'm not going to mention his name. He was 17 years old, Khalid?
Yeah, 17. Yeah, just turned 17.
Yeah. He was manhandling me. I've in previous years in Jahiliyyah, I have fought men on streets, but I've never been manhandled by a 17-year-old boy.
And can I just add a reflection onto what you've just said there, right? You're my brother. You're my older brother, who I'm extremely proud of, and who I look up to, and who I know a lot about. Yeah. And in terms of what I know a lot about, it includes your strengths and your weaknesses, your pet peeves, what you can have patience about, and what you struggle to have patience about. Yeah. And one of those things is people touching you. Yeah. Let alone manhandling you or grabbing you. Yeah. How does it feel, or how did it feel rather, that you experienced that yesterday, and you're probably going to experience a lot more of it and worse?
I was actually very happy for the young brother. The first thing I said to Khalid straight after the session, because yesterday Khalid was on repeat, pair up, next round, pair up, next round. I was thinking, when's he going to give man a breather, man? I'm dying out here, yeah? obviously I wasn't showing it, but I made dua for the young brother, because I can only see great things in him. Alhamdulillah, he was so physically strong.
Good.
And he was just flinging man about. I was like, you know what? This guy has to go on to, this young brother has to go on to do bigger and greater things. And Khalid agreed with me. How did it feel? At first, it was scary, bro. It was scary, because you can expect that from a grown man. You can expect that with someone who's maybe 6'4", built like a tank. But he wasn't. He wasn't significantly tall. He wasn't out here. Okay. He was well built, and he was flinging me about. I think he made me tap about 7 times.
Oh, so
It
you
was
were alert enough to count how many times you tapped him. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, I think I got tapped about 11 times. I had Coach Shamil that was there, mashallah. He was truly, it was a great honor, you know, rolling with him, and he was teaching me his game. But the young brother, he had me about 6-7 times, and it was humbling. It's one of the things I fed back to Khalid. In fact, I kept speaking about the young brother throughout the session, because he left, and I will never forget that session. And he's the one that left a mark on me, and it was a positive one. And I pray Allah makes him do great and beautiful things for the community and for himself. I mean, but in short, how did it feel? It felt I was intimidated. Obviously, when you're doing, obviously we're very new to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but that was like my 3rd or 4th class, and then so man up in your space, and it's very different to throwing a few combos in a different situation, and then you've got your friends around, your next man's got his friends around. That's a completely different situation. I'm sure you'd agree, Khalid, right? So, but when you're on that one-on-one situation, where quite frankly you've got nowhere to run, and
a very fierce, intimate environment.
It is. You're exchanging sweat beads. So the answer to your question is, I was feeling confident up until I turned up to Khalid's classes yesterday, and I saw the tempo at which he works at, and the tempo at which he works with his students, and I thought, okay, all right.
Dilly, we're gonna come back to you to explore some more of these about how you're feeling and your preparation and some of your thoughts. Coach Khalid, if I can come to you and ask you, when Dilly first approached you and he spoke to you and he mentioned that this is something that he wants to do, this is a project that he wants to do in partnership with you, and he wants your involvement and you closely a part of it. What were your initial thoughts? How did you feel when you heard that?
Because Dilly, I know, mashallah, so he's a friend of mine. So I said to, actually, when we had that meeting, I said to Dilly that I've had journalists come to me before and just done at the session. So but it's more casual. It's just like, what's MMA about? So it's very light and it's more talking. But what Dilly proposed was actually training like an MMA fighter for a week. So as a friend, I said to him straight away, that you're gonna have to listen to me as your ustad during the session, because the friendship has to stop at that point. When I'm teaching you, we're gonna go into that teacher student relationship, and I think that was important that we established at the beginning. My fears for him were that he takes it lightly, that he thinks that it's going to be like a joke, and that's my fear, because I don't really train people like that. And I think I said to Dilly that time that I don't really get involved in that type of stuff. It's not gonna. If you want to take my time, we're going to train properly, and inshallah you have some benefit out of it. And also for the viewers, because I know the intention, the viewers will get some benefit out of it, inshallah. That's the whole thing that we. Because even at the academy, our academy is my whole mantra in the academy is life is hard, we build strong people. So through martial arts, we're trying to build strong people that can deal with situations in their life. And I think this is a great opportunity to show that, because Dilly's trying to train for ultimately his Hajj, but also he's within that whole remit, he's going to be dealing with a lot of personal issues like ego. And like yesterday, he found out, and when he messaged me after, it was a humbling experience. Because why? And just to go back to something, Dilly, Ibrahim didn't use any strength against you. What you felt was someone technically superior to you. This is very important, because what happens is, when we do jiu-jitsu, and you're gonna hear a lot of this when we're training, that when we was training, that jiu-jitsu is based on leverage. So if he was using strength, then it's not the art. What he was doing was where he made himself feel really heavy to you and like a rock, and he didn't move or anything. What that was he knows where to put his body. So you were pushing against his 80 kilos with your arms, and he's just laying on top of you. So this is inshallah what you will learn, that it's not it's more technically based rather than strength. And without diverting into those topics, but just with Dilly, mashallah, I think when I had the conversation with him, he came at me and said, "Look, I really want to take this seriously." He's actually already started. I know pre-Ramadan you started training. He started following a diet book that I've got out, and he started doing some strength workouts that I sent him. So I already knew that he was taking it serious, and he kept messaging me every day. Is this okay? Am I doing this right? Is this okay? So I was like, okay, yeah, he's on the right path. Even during Ramadan, mashallah, I think he's stuck to it, and that was good to see as well.
Definitely.
I said to Dilly yesterday, on Thursday, I usually do like a conditioning drill or do something at the end of my class, and I asked the class, okay, who wants to stay after class? I told Dilly today, I asked the class who wants to stay after the class and do champion training, and I wanted to see who would stay and who would leave, and a few people left. So what I was saying is like, okay, that tells me a lot about people's mentality, and then not in a derogatory way, but what happens is it tells me, okay, I need to work on you. When you have an opportunity to train and do something extra, stay. Yeah. And the excuses I had was I got work tomorrow. My work can 15 minutes is not going to kill you. Do you know what I mean? And this is what I was testing the water with Dilly a little bit. Even yesterday, the session I did with Dilly yesterday, I was testing the no rest. Keep going. I want to see what this guy is about.
Yeah.
Actually, how do you think
reflections?
Well, yeah, I want, because you know, a lot of people. I remember we used to have back in the day. A lot of people used to come to me. I want to become a pro fighter. So the first thing I'll say to them is, "I'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the gym." 6. I got something to do. I got work. You don't really want to be a pro fighter then, because that doesn't match. So what I did with Dilly yesterday, I want to see if he quit, because now during the week. That was just one session. We're going to do that every day. So if he's going to be sore, like he was telling me today, he was sore today. But I said to him, imagine that now. You're going to be sore. You have to come train tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
I'm going to say something. The viewers, we're going to give a few little insights. Yeah. So this thing that we're going to kick off, inshallah, in 2 weeks with me and Coach Khalid, obviously we had to agree on a start time between us, right? And I said to Khalid, I said, listen, if you can, make it like early afternoon, like 12, 1 o'clock, because I wake up this time, I stay up for work in this time. Obviously, Coach Khalid won't have none of it. It's a 10 o'clock start. And then I tried. Even in Ramadan, I tried on the month of mercy. I was trying to get some clemency from him. Saying, Khalid, come. I said, give me an extra hour sleep. Let me start at 11. You weren't having none of it. He was like, it's a 10 o'clock start. And on Friday, when I messaged him, obviously viewers and listen, these are like private conversations that I was having with Coach. I was saying, look, I'm coming to my in-laws, which is next to your academy. And I know my mother-in-law is going to be feeding me a lot of food. I need to train, yeah, so I can justify eating before. Because you said that to me. You said, if you're going to eat, mold it around training.
Yeah.
So I knew exactly what she had in store. She had samosas, kebabs, biryani. She had the full lot, yeah. I thought, okay, Khalid said I've got 2 sessions: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, adults, 10 to 11, kickboxing, 11 to 12. I said, which one do you think I should come to? He said, come to both. I was like, but I've trained all week though. He's like, yeah, come to both. I was like, okay, cool. And I was just like, all right, but my body's sore and stuff. But alhamdulillah, I came because I'm taking it seriously. And I don't know if you remember, Zui, when we told Khalid that night, I think it was February, mid to end February, when Khalid said, what are you weighing at the moment? I said, I'm doing keto. And you said, get off that straight away. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. Khalid said, get off that. And then he sent me over the Carb It Right, which, brothers and sisters, you can get on the link, which has been pinned on the live chat. Just click there, go to the shop, and you will find Coach Khalid's book, Carb It Right. If you do Carb It Right 5P, you will get a discount as well, inshallah. And you'll also find a shortcut to strength, which is shortcut to strength, isn't it?
Athlete 8, yeah. Athlete 8, shortcut strength, yeah.
Shortcut to strength. And that, let me tell you, me and Aki did that book, and that book ain't messing about.
Yeah, I vouch for both of those 100%.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're to ask me, are we taking it seriously? I don't think I've taken anything this seriously in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I've changed my training, and I've run everything past Khalid. I mean, I don't know how the coach feels, but I could have easily just been like, all right, I'll see you on the 23rd. and that's it. No
Yeah,
communication.
and just turn up and see what
And just see how it turned out. But alhamdulillah, he checked in on me in Ramadan. I think there was like 2 weeks where me and him didn't really talk, whatever we're getting on with life. He checked in on me, what's training saying. Obviously, I told him I've been training whilst fasting towards the tail end. I went back to box. Everything I've been doing, I've run it past the coach. He knows that. Everything I've run past, should I go back to boxing? Do it. Cool. Bang. Right. And even the shortcut to strength training, you said to me, make that fit around the primary sport. So everything he's said, I've been doing to the best of my ability. And obviously, me and you have recently joined a local BJJ academy, which our uncle recommended us to. And that was obviously that was trying to show to Khalid, obviously, I'm now using initiative, because he said to me, you better come to me with something on the 23rd or 24th, which is when the filming starts for the series. And the last thing I want is to be gassed within 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm taking it seriously. And I think I had other concerns and worries, which I've spoken to the coach about. And it is centered around egos and stuff, as opposed to, can I handle it? Because the handle of it is, it's like a pain threshold, more of a teaching exercise, learning exercise. I had other issues which I ironed out with the coach before we agreed.
Well, that's a good segue into something that I wanted to touch base a bit more with Coach Khalid. Coach, you made reference to your relationship and friendship with Dilly before any of this, and as you know, with many men and boys that you've probably trained and worked with before, and as is the case with Dilly, I'm sure he's mentioned to you not only before, but he's mentioned it already in this live stream. This issue of pride and ego, and his profession, he's a journalist, so he's a very assertive person. He has an opinion. He's outspoken. How do you intend to deal with or envisage seeing this dynamic being played out in what will be quite an intense week for Dilly?
I think with Dilly, I'll have to see how he reacts to certain situations, because obviously everyone's an individual. They'll react to certain things differently. But yesterday was probably one of the situations where he was tested, and his ego, if it was bruised or it wasn't bruised, would have been done yesterday, where you have someone who's younger than you manhandle you. And to be honest, Dilly, he probably didn't even go that hard with you. No offense, because I did say, again, that's what I'm saying to you, because I'm keeping it real, because remember, for the viewers, the session was Dilly's brand new. I had another new student. It was a sparring class, so I had 2 new students. And Dilly, if you remember at the beginning of the class, what I told everyone, I said to everyone that
take it easy,
roll very lightly with them. I just want them to feel what jiu-jitsu is about, or just to feel it. So they're good students. So I know they probably didn't go hard with you, but they technically probably manhandled you and then showed you what superior skills that they possess, because these guys train every single day, mashallah. So I think that is, and to be honest, straight after he didn't have nothing but praise for the kid. That is a tick in my box already. He didn't say to me, "Oh, why did that guy beat me up for?" Where you will have people like this. Dilly came with the right response. Man, mashallah. And hopefully that's an inspiration for you to, okay, if I get good at this, this is what I can do. With training, I said to Dilly, there's always, I always find if you don't train with the right people or the right coaches, it can be a fitna. Because what you don't want to do is boost people's ego. So for me, it's always trying to be humble. Now, say you actually become good at a sport. Now, if I put you with someone who's a beginner, do you go and smash this guy, or do you help this guy to develop? And so you have that. You'll see those characteristics where people become bullies, or if they are actually superior than better than someone, they're actually able to help that student develop, and they have that personality. That is what I look for. That is what we're trying to teach. That's what we want in our clubs, and that's the culture, the community that we want to build.
Dilly, I'm going to come to you on the back of what Coach Khalid just said. So Coach is a coach, and Coach Khalid has dealt with and has experience working with various types of personalities, right? How are you feeling about your own self being in deep waters in some of those sessions and some of those classes? When you're having that fight camp, do you even know what you're going to expect yourself?
I've got a glimpse, and if anything, if yesterday's double session which I attended is anything to go by, then I know it's going to be a very intense week.
Yeah.
But know this.
Looking forward to it. Excited?
Of course, I'm excited.
Because put everything aside, the last 12 weeks, whatever I've been doing with you, if you put that aside and talk about just yourself and my observations of you, the last 12 weeks have been a radical change. And you mentioned it in the trailer, actually, that you're going to give up a harmful addiction for 18 years. Wow. So you're doing a lot, right?
You know when we decided to make the decision to go Hajj together, which you're joining me for, by the way, of course. And inshallah, and you know, the group of the family members that are going, none of us have done Hajj before. And the idea, Allah tells us in the Quran, and it's reiterated in the prophetic statements, that when you go to Hajj, you are supposed to go in a strong situation, in a strong condition, mentally, spiritually, and physically. You know, amongst South Asians, I don't know how it is for Arabs and non-South Asians, there is a tradition where you tend to go Hajj when you're old and frail.
Towards the end of your life.
Towards the end of your life, you've done everything. There's no sins left for you to commit. You just go there to seek Allah's tawbah.
Come back with a clean slate and then at some point pass away.
100%. So we forget that when the Sahaba, led by the Prophet ﷺ, made Umrah, they did Hajj, they should have their chest out because it was a sense of izzah for them. So to be strong. We're going with women folk. So, and we know that, you need to be strong in those kind of situations where there's going to be a lot of hustling and tussling, alert, in tawaf and so forth. And obviously, you can fool yourself, but you can't fool Allah Azza wa Jal. That's the truth. So, I can go to Hajj, persist on certain addictions, which I'm not going to inform everyone today. You'll have to wait for the Docutainment Series to find out what it is that I was hooked on for 18 years and what I gave up and why I gave it up and these kind of things, which, by the way, I told Khalid very late about this. He found out way towards the end when me and him met with Jamaal. I said, by the way,
Haribo's, is it?
No, it's definitely not Haribo's, and them Haribo. No, there's definitely not Haribo. It's far more sinister than Haribo. But you'll have to obviously wait for the Docutainment Series to find out what that particular harmful addiction was.
Yeah.
And I just have to be true to myself, innit? I realized there was a particular lifestyle I was living which wasn't sitting right with me. And even going to the gym and dragging yourself to the gym to just do weights 4 or 5 times a week, it's a mission, bro. It's a mission. But the last 12 weeks for me, alhamdulillah, I've not felt physically cleaner, stronger, lighter than I have previously. Alhamdulillah, I can't. And I have, and I've made radical changes in my life, from dieting, from training, from reintroducing combat sports, and with the intention of longevity. That's important. It's not that I'm going to finish this thing with Khalid, yallah, I'm back to normal life.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely serious about continuing a lot of this stuff after Hajj.
Inshallah. On the subject of being serious, Coach Khalid, you are a person who is serious. You give that impression, and people who know you're a person who's serious, not only in your personality, but in your craft. You take your work and you take your art very seriously, and you're a person who carries themselves very seriously. You're not someone who will often be caught smiling or laughing, actually, if I'm completely honest with you. And this being a docutainment series and having it and this tainment aspect to it, are we going to see Coach Khalid having moments of humor or smiling if that opportunity presents itself, perhaps at the expense of Dilly?
No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I do. It's weird. I do smile. I do laugh. I know this whole thing's been going on for a long time, but I do take my work seriously. So I think for me, it's important. Even when I'm training, even in personal life, I don't take things for jokes. Like it's not not every fight. Number one thing, Dilly. When you come train, for example, your safety is in my hands. So it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Like now, if I used to train fighters and I take them to go and compete, they potentially can die. So if you take that as a joke, and the training is a joke, and then you say, yeah, you can go and fight, and he gets hurt, and you're standing there as a coach, and you're responsible for that person. Also, I always used to be apprehensive about teaching people, because you're teaching people how to hurt someone. Now, I'm responsible for your actions. Well, I'm not. I mean, if I know certain characteristics that a person has. So, for example, I remember when I had my gyms, certain area, we used to have certain people used to come in. I want to learn how to fight. Oh, okay. Why do you learn how to fight? Oh, I go out Friday night and I do this. They're not the type of students that I want to teach how to fight, because they've come with the wrong intention from the beginning, from the get-go. So for me, it's like I said, I do take my work seriously. It's safety, making sure my students understand that you have a duty of care for your training partners. You have to respect your training partners, because the worst thing that happens is we start the first week or the first session and you get hurt.
No, I don't want that, man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, that's why I take everything seriously. And I think I think I would not have achieved what I have achieved if I didn't have this type of mentality. I try to instill this into people. You have to be disciplined. Not everything's a joke. Not everything's funny. Not everything's a joke. Like, I get it. You can enjoy stuff, but not everything in life is a joke. So when I train and I'm disciplined, I wake up and this is like when I actually switch characteristics. I think you'll know. I think you probably noticed it yesterday. I go into like a mode where this is work time. Me, you're not friends no more. That's what happens. It automatically. Yeah, it's going to happen. It happens. And I think I've always had that since I was young. Since I was young, anything I did, I remember when I used to do, if I just helped my family or something, my pops or anyone, or my mum or someone, I'd go quiet and I'm just into my work. And it's like I like kind of zone into it. And I think that's always carried. That's how I've been in my adult life as well. So this whole joke, I think there's a time for joking. So if we're sitting amongst us and not in that environment, I'm cool. But when it's work time and it's just serious stuff that we're going to be doing, it's time to be. Yeah, again, you can enjoy it, but it's going to be, when it's work time, it's going to be work time. It's not going to be a joke.
Alhamdulillah, I think that attitude and that perspective that you just shared there, coach, is not only one that's admirable, but should be respected, and it's a perspective that people should pursue, to be honest, because I think Dilly would agree as well that type of attitude and motivation, that type of focus, is one of a key ingredient to success, to be honest.
I think a lot of people miss opportunities because they have that lax attitude. Now, I'm thinking to myself, like in my school, when we was in school and stuff, I always said to people, like, why have we got Olympic sports in our schools? Do you know how many people would have probably made it in some sort of judo or boxing or something, because we wasn't allowed to play these sports, but they had those personalities, and it's like they kind of put that discipline into something that was not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and you think so that if there was some sort of way to direct it, and then that's what we all were looking for. And I think for me, it's now I'm in that position where we can offer that to people. It's don't come in and think this is a joke, because it actually changed my life, because I was lost. And when I got into this, it changed my life. And that's why I don't like people disrespecting it. And I think, the other reason why I'm probably like this as well is there's nothing being exchanged. I'm not giving you anything. So people always take that as I think it cheapens it, because I'm not giving you something. But what I'm actually giving you is 35 years of knowledge and 35 years of getting smashed. Or I went to Thailand by myself to go train, to learn. I was competing on my own. I used to go to competitions because there's no one there to take me. So I used to go compete. No cornerman, nothing. I used to go and fight by myself. So this, when someone says to me, "Oh, I can get a personal trainer for 20 quid," I'm not a personal trainer. So, and that's disrespectful for what I do. And that's why I said, that's why I take what I do very seriously. Because I look, Dilly, you're not going to come there for a week and it's going to be a joke. I want you to be excellent in your behavior, and I will be excellent in my coaching. And that's what we want, excellence. Because I don't see the point in doing it then.
I agree with you, bro. And that falls in line with the Islamic standpoint, which is to have ihsan in everything that we do. To do with the best intention and with the best of quality and standards.
Yeah. We have our final guest to complete the quad of today's live stream, Brother Jamaal Richards. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's lovely to see you. How are you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To everyone, Coach, assalamu alaikum. Yeah, mashallah, I've been listening in, and yeah, alhamdulillah, it's a real pleasure to be joining you, brothers. And so, by the way, can you hear me okay, first of all?
Yeah, obviously you can. Crystal clearly.
Nice one. I don't know where to start, really, but I know, Aki, you've probably got questions for me.
I do. Well, the first question I want to ask you, Jamaal, if that's okay, is you play a central role to this docutainment series as the director, producer, the person who's going to package and present Dilly's journey and this story.
Dilly's pain and suffering.
Yeah. You are someone who has a relationship with martial arts as well. I believe you were involved in the sports of arts of Wing Chun for many years, right?
Yeah, but let me just make it clear. I'm not any sort of senior level practitioner in any way, shape, or form. It's just that Wing Chun has always been like regarded as part of my life. You know, I trained for a number of years earlier, and you know, I dropped out. So, you know, obviously I'm a flop. I'm not like other people who have been dedicated for their whole life, but it's just my whole sort of my being is sort of based around that. So everything you know, my way of thinking and stuff like that has always been, and it has that respect, which is why, you know, the respect that I have for Khalid, who obviously he's been through the system, he's done the journey, a very painful journey, a very difficult journey, and you know, subhanAllah, you can only have respect for someone like that. You know, I remember, for example, when I was doing Wing Chun all those years ago, and I knew my Sifu personally, and you know, we kind of had a falling out, and I remember, you know, it was quite a really difficult situation at the time, because he even said to me, like, you know, you need to respect me because I'm your Sifu. You know, although he did do things which sort of like really kind of breached it as far as, you know, I might be concerned, but at the same time, you have to give that respect when someone is sharing that knowledge. You know, so alhamdulillah, very, very important.
I want to add to something too. Like, Roshan, can you show a picture of my former and now current boxing coach, Carl Hazelwood, please? That's Coach Carl Hazelwood, brothers and sisters. This is a gentleman who took me in when I was permanently expelled from school when I was 14 years old. He's also a friend of my dad's, and I went back to him in preparation for this project with Khalid. You can take it off screen now. And I had a little encounter with him, and I was really upset, and I had to go to Khalid, and I let off steam with Khalid because I was going mental, I was going mad. And Khalid said to me, he said, look, give the coach a chance, you know what I mean, see what he's saying. And alhamdulillah, once I fed back to Coach Carl that, look, you know, certain things are red lines, alhamdulillah, you know, he respected man to man, he apologized, and we moved on, and that my respect for him increased. Mm-hmm. But Khalid also played the role of I believe, a lastminute.com counselor for me, because I was screwing about a little incident that happened, which hurt me a lot. And that's because Coach Carl hadn't seen me for 17 years. For 17 years, this kid that he trained boxing with, 14, 15, 16, came back to him after 17 years, and he cracked a joke, which I didn't like. Mm. But alhamdulillah, you know what I mean? Khalid gave me some nasiha and said, look, at the end of the day, you know, he's a coach, he's a non-Muslim. And so sometimes there's a level of husn adan you have to have for these individuals. And Coach Carl came in nice and clean, and he showed me nothing but love and respect. and authoritative training as if I'm still 14, 15, 16. So respect to that.
And I think and just some reflections on that incident, because I know what you're talking about, because I remember when you came in after that session and you were, I could see the steam coming off you. Now, I think that was a good example of how these type of awkward and sour situations can be handled well. You know, where someone makes a mistake, whichever party it is, and it could be dealt with amicably if it's approached respectfully but clearly. So, for those who are viewing and who have had experiences like that in gyms where, you know, things have happened and coach or peer has spoken in a certain way, you can deal with those things in the right way. You can do those things the right way. Jamaal, I want to ask you a question. You're not only just a producer and director of this document, you're a docutainment series. You are an active cast member. You will be playing a role in this series where you will be conversing with Dilly.
Yeah, inshallah.
You know, during the project itself, and asking questions like, how many fingers do you see?
With a big grin on my face when I'm asking that question.
How are you feeling about this project? What's it like for you? What were your thoughts when you heard that, okay, this is something that we're doing?
I am extremely excited about this project for a number of reasons. But one of the main reasons is, first of all, I get the chance and the privilege to sort of work closely with Khalid, mashallah. I've worked with Dilly for many years anyway, as you know. But working with Coach Khalid is going to be a real pleasure. You know, we had boundaries that were set and clear when we had our first meeting, and that is that I'm not to get in his way under any circumstances. And seeing how he trains, there's no chance of me getting in his way. I think I'll be keeping a nice distance. I have a nice long lens on. But our trailer that we shot, we filmed and shot that trailer yesterday. I was using a 35mm lens, so I was able to get up close and you know, get some of the action. And you know, alhamdulillah, that's what I really want to do. I want to be the eyes for the viewer. I want to be, obviously, I want, you know, the viewer. I'm representing the viewers, and I want them to be up close and personal, seeing Dilly's pains, seeing everything. So not just his pain, obviously the pain of his journey. I want to see the pain. They want to see the journey. And yeah, we want to see that journey. And every person watching is going to empathize with what is going on, because they will be feeling it for themselves. Everyone's had the same questions. Everyone's going to feel it. This is why this Docutainment Series is so important. It's so important. I mean, it's like everyone. If anyone doesn't watch this, they'll be absolutely insane, right? Because everyone's got a level of development that they need for themselves, right? Dilly stepped up to the mark and just said, you know, guys, you know what? Come with me. I'm going to represent, man. Yeah. That's what Dilly's doing. So everyone who's watching this, they will spread this far and wide, and they will see, you know, subhanallah. If you don't mind, I just want to add something very quickly, right? Without sort of hugging up the show. But
no, please carry on.
Okay. Now, the thing is, like, you know, Khalid, you mentioned things about people coming up and saying, I want to learn to fight, and you check to see like how sincere they are about it. But there's a very serious element of importance to, especially for the youth, learning not just the fighting, but as in when it comes to any martial arts, right? Learning the discipline, right, of how you apply this this system, because some of you may know brother, I think his name is Omar Abdulaziz from Discover Islam.
Yes, I heard about
yeah, he lost his son on Thursday. He was stabbed in Slough on Thursday. Lost his life, subhanallah. He was doing the work of dawah at the time, and the way that he lost his life was that basically, I don't know whatever the altercation was, but the assailant basically was stepping away from him and then just took one strike and just stabbed him in his chest. And I think he was dead. He died a bit later in hospital. And what happened is, it reminded me of an incident which happened to me when I was 16 years old. When I was 16 years old, I was simply just walking down the street. It was broad daylight, and a gentleman, an older man, he was walking in the opposite direction, and I was just simply walking. And as he was passing me, this is such a weird, profound thing that happened. As he was passing me, he didn't say a word. He just basically just went bam in my chest, and he carried on walking. He didn't say anything. He didn't look around for any reaction. He just went bam in my chest and carried on walking. Now me, I was just shocked. And I didn't do anything. In fact, I just carried on walking. But I just thought that was such a very important lesson to me on that day, right? Because had he had a knife or something like that, I would have been gone. I would have been missing. So our children absolutely need brothers like Khalid, right? And our children also absolutely need to watch this docutainment series as well, for them to understand that the journey that Dilly is going through is going to go through. It's a journey that they have to go through. And I just wanted to mention that, and may Allah forgive the young brother from his sins and grant him the for those. I mean,
elevate his rank and accept him as a martyr. I mean,
Roshan, let's see Jamal's very shortly produced. Like he produced this within 12, 18 hours. Can we see the trailer again, please? I'm not trying the teaser. By the way, this is not a trailer. There's still an official trailer. This is just to give you all a taste.
Oh, more work, thanks.
The last 12 months have been an interesting one for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with a beautiful daughter. I gave up a very harmful addiction after 18 years, and I intend on making Hajj inshallah. In preparation for the biggest journey in my life, I have decided that this continuous battle with my ego and controlling my anger would have to be tackled head on. First and foremost for the sake of Allah and the betterment of my deen. The story of this documentary series started with me asking the legendary British Moroccan MMA fighter and coach, Khalid Ismail, to train me for a full week as part of an intense MMA boot camp of all the major disciplines of mixed martial arts, in the hope that not only would I learn new skills to improve my general health and fitness, but most importantly, be humble and disciplined enough to allow myself to be managed by an expert who is more knowledgeable, stronger and experienced than me. Will my ego and temperament allow me to truly learn from Coach Khalid? I guess we're about to find out.
Roshan, just on that, can you also play the podcast clip of Khalid where we spoke about the ego?
Makes you reflect, and I think that is it. As soon as you start reflecting, so subhanallah, man, we think we're really bad, but
We're really not.
You're not, and you can be the baddest guy in the thing, but you're not, bro.
Well, you're going to return to dust.
I always remember Muhammad Ali. I said to him, bro, the greatest fighter's gone, and it's like, know that how many greats have come before him, Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, all of these guys, man. So many fighters, so many strong people, so many leaders. They're all gone, man. Kings, everything. So if you don't reflect on this, you're the loser. So what happens is, it's like, appreciate what Allah has given you, go after it, do the best you can with it, but don't forget you're going to go back to him.
Blood Brothers Podcast.
Yeah, man. Jamaal cooked that up within like 12 hours. 18 hours. Smashed him, mashallah. And they were
Go ahead.
No, go on.
No, just saying it also enabled me to have a sense of what we're going to be getting ourselves into, and again, just to make sure that I sort of take everyone on this journey in a way that they're going to greatly benefit from it. And I was quite happy with obviously what we produced, and I feel it's going to be really good. It's going to be real. It's going to be raw. It's going to be genuine. And I'm going to dig deep, obviously, with some of the questions that I'm going to ask as well. So it should be really good.
Right, Zuri, I know we haven't got Jamaal for that long. Do you want to ask him anything before he parts from us, Bree?
Yeah, well, the last question I really want to ask, perhaps Jamaal, before is Jamaal leaving us?
Yeah, he's with us for about
In a couple of minutes. Yeah. 5 minutes max. Yeah.
Okay. So, what budget are we working with for this cinematic experience, Jamaal? Are you pushed?
Jamaal, don't be dropping on numbers, yeah? Don't be dropping on numbers.
Well, let me put it this way, yeah.
By giving you peanuts.
Let me put it this way, right? Me and Dilly, we've got a long history of working together, and me looking after him and 5 Pillars, yeah. And the way that he got me into this, I don't know what you want to call it, this kerfuffle. He said to me, Jamaal, I've got this production. I want you to work on this. We've got a budget of like look, you can't even see the roof. We've got a budget of here, right, through the roof, initially. And I go, okay. And then I was thinking, you know what? I'm not gonna stretch that budget, because I always find that really weird when people have a budget and they say to you like, oh, I've got a budget of like 50k for something, and then in your mind you're thinking, well, I would have only charged 10k for that, but well, hell, you got 50k budget, that's fine, 45k, yeah. But I thought I'm gonna try and look after Dilly, and then I looked after him. And I was like, well, actually, bro, we haven't got that much at all. And then we were sort of like, what are we done here? But alhamdulillah, because it's such an important cause, and it's not that cheap, but because it was quite important, and I get the benefit from it.
Can I just
look?
Go on.
Wait,
go on.
yesterday when we were filming this trailer, and I said to Coach Khalid, I'm sweating and I haven't even been doing anything, and like, you know, subhanallah.
I said that to you. I said, what are you sweating for? You ain't even done that.
It was hot in there. It was hot in there.
And just on the issue of budget, right? There were other Islamic Muslim outlets that wanted to take this project on. I'm not going to mention their names. They wanted to air it on broadcast, right? And they would have had their own budget. I spoke to Roshan, who's in the back seat, and who's in the back. And I said to him, look, it wouldn't feel right me taking this project to another channel. It makes no sense. This has to be a 5 Pillars thing. And also, I don't know how Khalid would feel, you know, vibing with another channel. Coach Khalid vibes with me because we've got an understanding. But there were other channels out there, very well-established ones, that would have definitely had triple the budgets that I proposed. But after me and Roshan spoke, you know, he said, no, this has to stay in-house. And I think, you know, given that, I don't think the budget's that bad, Jamaal. I mean,
no, it's fine. It's fine.
The budget's not that bad. You know what I mean? But
it's
yeah,
fine.
man, I'm excited. I just want to clarify for our viewers and listeners, especially throughout Ramadan, we're not spending 50 racks on this documentary. Just so
no. just to be what it is we discussed within the budget. We discussed certain routes that we could take, certain resources that we could use, you know, and obviously it all depended on where we would find the final sort of output where it would go. And that's why we made a decision that, you know, we don't need to have all those extra resources, you know, because obviously we were talking about, if you don't mind me saying, like, obviously, you know, I'm looking at doing stuff that I've written and whatever. So we're trying to approach people like Netflix and so on. And I just felt that this particular journey would be one that would be, you know, the more people that can be exposed to it, the better. So we were going to use, you know, the equipment, which is going to be like ready for that type of broadcast. And then we determined that, okay, it's not going to go there now. We don't need to do that. So let's just use what we can. Obviously, we have good enough equipment, and we'd hire whatever we need anyway. So again, people will feel it and understand it, and it's, you know, we're going to take them really up close as well. So what we're using, it's sufficient. You know, it's going to be pretty good, inshallah.
And just on a quick one, I also want to add, there's a budget that's been approved by 5 Pillars. If it goes above that budget, it's coming from my own pocket. So may Allah make you a success.
I mean.
Jamaal, if you have to leave us, then it will be sad to see you go. But it was lovely seeing you and speaking to you again, my brother. And
likewise. I'll be watching the rest of this in the background. I just got some stuff to do, but I'm really looking forward to it. May Allah make it a success for all. I mean, and Jazakallah khair for allowing me to take part in this. And as I said, make dua, and you know, hopefully we can sort of try and find some solutions for the situation on the street with our youth, inshallah.
Inshallah, bro. Inshallah. Take care, bro.
Take care.
Good seeing you. Sama.
Coach Khalid, I have a question for you.
Go.
So we know that before this fight camp starts, you know that for the last 3 months, Dilly's been doing what he's been doing. He's gone back to boxing, started his boxing again. We started doing jiu-jitsu. We've had, you know, a few classes, and then you saw him yesterday at your gym. What are your thoughts on this preparation that is made before he comes to you? Because we know that had he come blank, there have been problems. What are your thoughts on what he's done so far?
I'm actually quite proud of him, to be honest. So he's I think we spoke when we speak February, Dilly, yeah, before Ramadan, yeah. So it was from February when he made that commitment. When he actually spoke to me, look, I'm willing to do this. He actually made the steps, the correct steps, move to get himself fit. Skill wise, it's entirely dependent on the person. So obviously, like now, Dilly's a white belt. he's green. He hasn't done anything regarding MMA kind of thing. We're going to have to teach him wrestling, a little bit of wrestling as well. So so the progress he's made in what he can do, in the capacity that he's done, and he can do what he can do, has been good. Alhamdulillah. The rest, obviously, he's gone back to boxing, so I can see that he's done a little bit of boxing, mashallah. So it's good. Now, what will happen is I will have to try to teach him as much as I can in that week for the finale.
What is the finale? You've not even told me what the finale is. Are you still going to keep that secret from me?
Do we have to? To be honest, Bob, it doesn't really matter because if I tell you or don't tell you,
no, don't tell.
Yeah.
Don't say.
So,
Let the people wait for that.
Yeah. So I think
let me waiting for that.
The finale. I think from the first episode, inshallah, we'll start building up to it because there's no point doing it this whole week without being tested. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Okay.
Coach Khalid, what will people learn from this? So once this is released and people are watching it and they sat down and they're like, okay, finally it's released. What are you hoping as a coach? And Dilly, this is something for you to think about when I come to you in a minute as well. What are you hoping people will get from this? What message do you want people to take from it?
Yeah, I think Brother Jamaal, mashallah, touched on a few points, like for the youth, but not only for the youth. I think we're missing out adults as well. So we want to empower the adults because obviously they're going to. We're not going to be the only influence in their life. Just us. You got people in your own household that can be those people as well. So inshallah, from this documentary, what I'm looking for is, yeah, you're going to struggle. You're going to see ups and downs, but Dilly will make it through. That's what we want. I want to encourage. What I want to teach people that, yeah, life ain't no straight line. It's going to go ups and downs. You're going to have ups and downs, but battling through it is what we want to show. The discipline, there's etiquettes in martial arts that we'll explore. That I think it falls very in line with Islamic traditions as well. So I think people who watch this will see why it's important that you should be doing sports, why you need to be engaged. Even for our youngsters, for example, what Brother Jamaal said about the youngster there, like understanding environments. So when you teach martial arts, it's not just, as I kept saying, it's not about beating up each other or fighting all the time. When you learn martial arts, and you'll start learning people's demeanor when someone's walking down the street, how the person's walking towards you, when certain situations look dangerous to you, where you should. I teach a few self-defense classes as well. So I had a sister come to me, and she's mashallah, she started training, and basically what's happened with this is she's in a hostile environment. So the people that she works with at any point are volatile, that can actually and she's had incidents where people have attacked her. Now, for her, it's not about teaching her, oh yeah, you grab the guy and you throw him and do stuff. It's understanding how to take yourself out of this situation. That's the first line of defense, not striking or grappling or anything. Being aware, understanding, okay, when you're in a dangerous situation. So this, I want to make sure that it comes out in the documentary, inshallah. If somehow we're able to show this, it's not only about
Offensive.
yeah, just like, or not just about MMA and all this stuff, or like fitness, strength. It has to have the beauty of what martial arts means to a lot, like why people stay with this art for the whole. For the whole, I mean, I've been doing this since I'm 5 years old. I'm like, I won't give my age up, but it's over 5 years. So, like doing this for this long, why are we in this? Why are we still in this game? Why are we still doing this in this pursuit? And I know there's so much benefit, but not only my club, mashallah. There's Legion, where I also train, Legion Grappling. So we Dr. Amir there, mashallah, Brother Muhammad, Dilly, you've met the brothers there, and all of us, we have the same ethos. That's they're my brothers, they're my club, and then we have always been in line with our teaching and our methodology and what we're about, and it's very important that I think that comes out in this documentary.
Inshallah. Brother Zayan, who's a supporter of 5 Pillars, mashallah, he thinks there's going to be some secret fight with Khabib. But Roshan, why don't you show just our viewers and listeners just the clip of Coach Khalid doing some pad work with Khabib? That was
Coach Khalid Ismail and the Hall of Famer and legendary Khabib Nurmagomedov, former lightweight champion of UFC. Dilly.
That was in quickly. That was just I met Coach Khalid for the first time out in Dubai for UFC 242. That's when we first actually met. Very briefly, he had an eye infection or something happened. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And Coach Khalid was there with Othman Al-Zaitar's camp, and then obviously that's when I first met Coach Khalid. Then soon after we had him on the podcast, and it was a great. Obviously, we knew about the line of the desert before that. We were young kids. Obviously, when we met you out there, I know there were some other brothers that were gassed about meeting others. I don't want to throw dirt on your face, my dear brother. I was more gassed about meeting you in person. No, because there were other people there.
Yeah, there was. But we had Henry Cejudo there,
Kamaru Usman, and I wasn't as gassed about that than I was about actually meeting Khalid, who's from our soil, who we saw break a grown man's leg. That's what I was going to. And then we didn't actually get to chat much. We exchanged salams, and then we touched base after we got back to the UK. And I think that was alhamdulillah. I thank Allah for that meeting.
I mean,
yeah, what do you want to ask, man?
Look, in this live stream, we've spoken a lot about, your preparation for Hajj, this newfound focus and desire to be a better version of Dilly and going back to, boxing and being healthier and fitness and all of these things, the discipline and focus that comes with it. What are the aims and objectives for this docutainment series? People could be watching this thinking, hey, I'm hearing a lot of MMA, I'm hearing a lot of self-defense, I'm hearing a lot of, the youth will benefit from this and, knowing when to be safe and understanding the environment. For those who are the followers and viewers of 5 Pillars who want to understand more, what are the aims and objectives of this project? Is there going to be an Islamic and da'wah and educational angle and perspective to it? What would your response be, or what would your thoughts be on that?
100% there will be, because if there wasn't any dawah objective to it, there would be no purpose for this the series that we're going to do. Yeah. I just want to also clarify, it's not necessarily that at the age of 34 I've decided to become health and fit. It's because my approach to health and fitness was I would say respected, was incorrect.
Correct. Yeah, I should have rephrased that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault. I mean, I remember Khalid. Yes. So when I spoke to Khalid in February, and he said, "So what are you doing at the moment?" I said, "I'm just banging out weights. Just on International Chest Day on Monday, legs on Friday, doing all that." He goes, "Okay, you're bodybuilding." He goes, "Okay, scrap that. You need to." And then so it wasn't that we weren't training. We were training. We just weren't. We were training for t-shirt bodies. That's what we were training for, to look good.
To build muscle. Yeah.
That's it. So that's what it was. It was actually to refine and actually focus and get more out of what I want to do. In terms of the objectives, look, 5 Pillars' motto is what are Muslims thinking? It's not what are practicing Muslims thinking or what are non-practicing Muslims are thinking. It's just what Muslims are thinking.
Yeah.
And Muslims think about MMA a lot. Especially after the Khabib and Conor showdown, the Muslim audience and followership of mixed martial arts has increased by so many folds. Would you agree, Khalid?
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely.
The representation of Muslims in combat sports.
Yeah, let's be honest about it. Khabib's following increased by millions because of the showdown he had with Conor, and because of the kind of Islamophobic and racist tropes that Conor was coming out with. It nearly essentially became a battle between Haq and Batil. Literally became an Iman and Kufr. That's literally how millions of Muslims saw that fight. So Muslims do think about MMA. Muslims do think about self-defense. Our sisters, Muslim women, especially those who are visibly Muslim, i.e. wear hijab, jilbab, with the niqab, are the biggest targets of hate crimes in the West, right? So they would benefit from this. But in terms of will there be a dawah objective? Well, without giving away too much, there is an aspect of each episode which is called reflections. And this is where me and Khalid have a conversation after training, where we exchange some thoughts, some ideas, and just reflect upon man, life, and universe. But that's as much as I'm going to say. But the answer to your question is there a dawah objective, i.e. is there an Islamic angle? Well, the fact that I'm preparing for Hajj and I made this a part of it is Islamic. And the very fact that there's going to be an aspect, a segment of each episode where we're going to be talking about things which will be relevant to our deen. So yes, it will be. I know we've had a few feedback from a few people saying, oh, well, does this fall in line with 5 pillars? It absolutely does. It absolutely does, because we've already had Coach Khalid, Coach Faraz, Hamza Shiraz, and other MMA combat sport practitioners on the podcast. Whenever something happens relating to Khabib or other prominent sports figures, we report it on our website. So, we can't be like, what are Muslims thinking except for MMA? It doesn't work like that. It falls well within our remit, because it falls well within the remit of what Muslims talk and think about in terms of popular trends.
Definitely. Before I ask any further questions, I just wanted to make reference to some comments that have come and gone.
Yeah, so should we ask Roshan? Because Roshan said there are some comments and questions from Coach Khalid, and we are going to wrap up in about 10 minutes. So Roshan, do you want to, I know you've got some questions. For a person with zero experience in self-defense, would you recommend for defense in real-life street fights? Is it kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? What should one start with?
BJJ.
Really?
Yeah.
But coach, is it the first thing that a man will throw at you is a kick or a lick?
It's if you think of self-defense, we don't self-defense in the sense of self-defense, we don't want to punch and kick people on the street because you're going to go to jail.
Okay.
So I need to subdue, and most people don't know how to fight grappling situations. So what happens is if I'm able to subdue a bigger, stronger person with using technique and skill, closing up this distance, take them down, or not even take them down, but able to deal with them in a grappling sense, is probably easier. And every fight ends up in some sort of grappling situation. Ideally, if you're young, you would want to start with wrestling. If you're very young, I would start with wrestling. We actually do a wrestling program for a foundation wrestling program at Legion and at my academy. So we teach. Both of us have actually developed syllabuses, mashallah. So it will take a complete beginner all the way through to advanced. And again, it's just basically discipline. You need to stay disciplined.
Next question, Brother Fahad is asking, is it too late to start learning MMA at the age of 29?
It's never too late. It's never too late to learn anything. Just find a good school. You need to find a good school, and then tell them what you actually want to do. Don't go into clubs that are very heavily competition focused or fight focused. You want to go somewhere where it has a whole approach of everything. So if you want self-defense or anything else, that's what you need to look at.
Next question, Coach Khalid, is where did you learn your MMA?
Where did I learn my MMA? They call me Ronin. Yeah, so I'm like Ryu. I've trained all over the place. So I was I've had a few coaches, and then I just traveled and learned. then I developed my own system and stuff.
What was your? Let me ask you a question, Coach. What was your earliest exposure to combat sports?
Yeah, so I started karate when I was 5.
Okay.
And then I started kickboxing at 18. Fought professionally from 18 to 26. I think I was fighting professionally. Then I went into MMA. And then, but all that time I was doing jiu-jitsu, and at 19 I started jiu-jitsu. 23 I started wrestling. So I was just doing a whole like medley of different martial arts.
Okay.
And then at 2010, 2008 I turned pro MMA.
Cool. Brother Kaz is saying he feels intimidated joining your martial arts club. I live in Ilford. What do you advise?
Joining my martial arts club or joining a martial arts club?
Well, let's assume the brother feels intimidated just joining a martial arts club, period.
Yeah. So that's what I said. Like if you go to the club, go speak to the instructor, go and view a class, and then see what it's about. And you'll kind of get a feel of what the club is about and how the coach is. Ask them what their ethos is. That's important. What they, if they have also ask them if they do gradings, if they have a syllabus. One of the most notorious things you're going to find, Dilly, especially in your jiu-jitsu journey, is that a lot of clubs don't have syllabuses. So when you don't have a syllabus, it's very like random. When you're training, it's very random. When you get your stride, how do you progress? What is the instructor looking for? So you need some sort of guidance. I think that's what we all like. We all like some sort of system that we can follow to track our progress. So that's important.
Cool. Just on mine and Aki's very recent journey with Toucan. Again, something I ran past you, and I hope people understand, the viewers and listeners understand that the whole teacher-student. I know in the teaser I said, will I allow myself to be taught by Khalid? But I'm already trying to condition myself to running things past Khalid. Is this good for me? Is this bad for me? How can I incorporate this? So this is even my way of trying to ready myself to basically accept Khalid's authority in this regard. Brother Stefan is saying, gonna follow this with interest. My father's a retired jiu-jitsu man. I'm a lifting man myself. Should be good to see progress. Alhamdulillah. Brother Stefan is a new Muslim. The brother, I think his first Ramadan was this year. May Allah bless him. May Allah guide his family to Islam and keep you firm upon the deen. Ameen. Zui, I think it's time to wrap up unless there's anything else. What's he saying? What was that question?
Before we wrap up, I want to ask you a final question to Dilly.
Yeah, go for it.
Why Coach Khalid for this project and for this journey that you're making?
I'll be honest with you, yeah. And you know, Coach Khalid's here, and I'll be real with him. There were other people that we could have asked. I could have approached for this. We have a mutual friend, Coach Faraz Zahabi. You know, he said, look, come to TriStar, come spend a week with us, so forth. But I feel that Khalid, he reminds me a lot of the senior men in our family. Dad, boy, our older brother. I see those values and that mindset in him, and we've only flourished. We've only flourished under the leadership of our father and our older brother.
Yeah, 100%.
So when I saw those values in Khalid, I thought to myself, you know what? I was gravitating towards that than perhaps a coach who would only do it for the sake of. Not that I'm saying that anyone else I would have approached would have done this, but there would have at least been a higher risk of them potentially just massaging my, not ego, but massaging whatever outcome I'm searching for. Yeah? Or massaging, or not really giving their 100% into it as the way I felt that Khalid would. So I saw, and even when I message sometimes Khalid, I say, you're a Cosa Nostra kind of guy. I like that about Khalid. He speaks very little, and when he does speak, he speaks with emphasis and importance. I don't want to throw any more dirt on his face, but the reason why I chose Coach Khalid is because I feel that it matches with what I need right now in my life. We whenever there's been an element of I need to discipline myself, refocus, recalibrate, and I've only kind of flourished under those values I've identified with him that we've seen, me and you and I have seen, that similar values that Dad has raised us with, or similar values that Bai has raised us with. So I saw those things in Khalid, and I thought, okay, you know what? I think I'll be better, doing this thing under him than others who I know on a friendly basis. Others who may be more well known beyond the UK, but I felt most comfortable approaching and asking Khalid. So really, and it actually fitted a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said the believers are a mirror of one another. So I saw certain things in Khalid which I saw in myself and within our household. I think in the last time, not this time I met this weekend, but when me, you, and Jamaal had that meeting, we spoke about certain experiences and certain encounters in Jahiliyyah. Yeah, not many people will have those experiences. So yeah, I think for all those reasons, Khalid was the man for this project. Alhamdulillah.
And what a great choice it was. Alhamdulillah. Look, I'm going to wrap it up now. It was fantastic sharing the evening with you both and Jamaal earlier. I pray Allah makes this project a success.
Ameen.
And I pray Allah increases you both in strength and success. Ameen. And like everyone anticipating the project and the Docutainment Series, we look forward to it, very excited. And we're all waiting in anticipation.
Inshallah. Mid to end of June it'll be out.
Inshallah.
Thanks for everyone for viewing and tuning in. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The last 12 months have been an interesting one for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with a beautiful daughter. I gave up a very harmful addiction after 18 years, and I intend on making Hajj inshallah. In preparation for the biggest journey of my life, I have decided that this continuous battle with my ego and controlling my anger would have to be tackled head on. First and foremost for the sake of Allah and the betterment of my deen. The story of this documentary series started with me asking the legendary British Moroccan MMA fighter and coach Khalid Ismail to train me for a full week as part of an intense MMA boot camp of all the major disciplines of mixed martial arts, in the hope that not only would I learn new skills to improve my general health and fitness, but most importantly, be humble and disciplined enough to allow myself to be managed by an expert who is more knowledgeable, stronger and experienced than me. Will my ego and temperament allow me to truly learn from Coach Khalid? I guess we're about to find out.